Hey everybody!
What's up?
So, we just saw Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, we did. I love this movie. It is literally everything I would want in a Blade Runner sequel. No confirmation or denial about whether or not Deckard is a replicant. Very little backstory as to what's going on with the actual, what you think is the main story, and kept very tightly on the discussion as to whether or not a machine could be considered human. And yeah, this movie looks great, it's told great, it's acted great. There are one or two spots where the CG kind of comes through a little bit, with that wolf dog that Harrison Ford kept in his hotel mansion place. I'm fairly certain they actually had a dog there for more than a couple of scenes, because it would be really, really impressive if they managed to make it look that good and then immediately let it look that fake in like a couple of scenes later. But I really, really don't like saying this. I'm kind of glad it's not making a lot of money.
That'd be like a cult thing, or?
Not quite. Blade Runner is remembered fondly because it was its own thing. It didn't do very well at the box office, got a really great cult following, and was its own entity.
Yeah.
If this had made money, like bukus and bukus of money,
we would have gotten a franchise.
We would have gotten a franchise, which is the last thing Blade Runner needs. Especially after the way this movie ends.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
No, go away. Don't listen!
I also, like, looking at it objectively, my opinion's a little bit different than yours. I really liked it.
Right.
But me not having such a knowledge of Blade Runner, like I said, I've watched it one or two times.
Well, I don't think it's a knowledge-based thing. It's just how much I like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It set up a lot of what I view science fiction as. I like what it does. I like how it subverts the standard tropes that most people would have.
Yeah.
Which is still very, very present in
yes. It's still, I will say this movie's not for everyone. Because...
Oh, no. God, no. That being said, I wish people would see it, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad they're not, because if they
this is not a movie that it's easy for the average person to go sit and watch, because like I told you, I went up to go to the bathroom.
Right.
When I came back in, there were 4 people just fucking knocked out of sleep.
It's a slow-moving movie.
It really is, and it's long. It's
nearly 3 hours long. I hate to say it, but I really wish we had an intermission in this thing.
Yeah.
We really could have used it. That being said, I'm not mad that it's 3 hours long, nearly. I really thought I'd go into this and be like, yeah, you could fucking trim like 40 fucking minutes out of this movie. But when I'm there, it's the same thing like Mad Max Fury Road. There's no point where I want to leave and do something else.
Yeah.
If it's not giving you story to move the plot along, it's engaging you with an amazing visual spectacle that is done. It's done with enough practical effects mixed with CG that it really does not become a problem, except in like 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah. I think the whole thing with Blade Runner, at least my opinion, is I think Blade Runner is kind of made for a certain group of people. As far as, like, people who just get science fiction and want something more, and who, you know, can sit and look at a story and appreciate a good story Your average person's not going to be able to do that, though.
Yeah, which is kind of the problem.
This movie,
as much as I hate to say it, the unwashed masses just want action, 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 and this movie is
there's not a lot of action in it.
But for what action there is, it's good.
Yeah, it's there when it needs to be there.
Yeah.
And then it's not over the top.
That being said, I kind of wish we hadn't gone to see this in like the big screen because of the huge stereo system they have in there.
Yeah,
because like every gun blast is like boom, deafening, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! I'm glad I saw it in the biggest screen possible because that gave me a huge field of vision and able to see everything that was on screen, which is a huge benefit. But the sound system was just way too loud.
Yeah, that's how the XD theater works.
Yeah.
Like, it's got twice the speakers in the normal theater.
I don't think they need twice the speakers, they just need twice good speakers.
You can tell them that until you're blue in the face. They don't listen.
Louder's better!
Well, that's usually the ones that they put the action movies and all that in.
Yeah. But, yeah, this movie takes a very, very wise stance that it doesn't go into whether or not Deckard is a replicant. There's one scene where I really thought they were going to blow it, but, you know, fuck it, we're going to do spoilers on this, because, like I said, nobody's fucking watching this movie.
Yeah.
They pick up Deckard, and they're interrogating him, and...
I liked how he wasn't in the movie until, like, close to the
basically
end.
The third act, yeah.
Yeah, like, the way the trailers made it, you thought he was going to be throughout the whole thing. No,
it gave you a lot of time to focus on your Ryan Gosling lead character, Kay, or Joe, as it's later discovered, which I have a bit of an issue with that, but I'll get to that when we get to him. But there's a great scene where Jared Leto's character, I don't remember his name. I just remember it being blind Jared Leto.
Not Tyrell.
Yeah, the guy who bought Tyrell's shit. Jared Leto is interrogating him, and he's asking him these series of questions, and he's asking us, like, were you programmed to meet Rachel? Was it predestined in your... Were you supposed to do this to kick off a series of events? But that all works with the idea that you were programmed to begin with. And for a minute, I'm just like, they're gonna go one way or the other. They're gonna do it. They're gonna end this question once and for all. And he looks at it and is like, I know what's real. And it's a really great unofficial way of saying that Deckard is a human, but at the same time, you could just say that he's just throwing him off. So the debate will always be there, and I kind of love that idea, that there is no final say as to whether or not that he is.
I will say this, there's CG for Rachel looking young again. So much better than Rogue One.
Yeah, well, they did one of the things I suggested that they do with Tarkin, was they just have somebody who sort of looks like him. And in this case, they have somebody who sort of looks like Sean Young, and they digitally touched her up so that when she's looking at him... but then for the most part, you never actually see her mouth move. You always see her from behind in profile when she's talking, and I'm like, that's actually a really good idea. Because when she does talk, I'm left wondering, I'm like, are you somebody who really looks like Sean Young, and they just touched you up? Because if they did just that, they did a fantastic job.
Oh, yeah. Or if it was something like digital, it looked off. It did.
Again, I think they just touched her up a little bit in post, and yeah, I think they just got somebody who looked like Sean Young, put her in some good makeup, and digitally touched up like her cheekbones or whatever, and really rounded that out. They used some footage from Blade Runner, the original, and it all works. That being said, there are a couple of things in here that they have in shorts that help the movie along. I don't know if you watched any of the shorts that led up to 2049's release.
No.
One of them is a short about how Jared Leto has created like the Nexus 10 or whatever, and how they're perfect in obedience, and they'll do whatever you tell them to do.
Yeah.
He does so by going to a group of people who are debating replicants or whatever, and he basically has one kill itself with absolutely no hesitation. And that sets up the idea that this brand of replicant are not going to wig out and try and kill people on their own. Which kind of backfires because we have a replicant wig out and try and kill people on their own.
See, that led me to... I came out of this with a few questions. Sean's like, well, you're kind of missing... I saw the bigger picture, but it's just things I would like answered. It doesn't ruin the movie for me.
See, this is the problem, though. They don't need answering. This is supposed to be a self-contained movie. It does that, and you don't need these answers.
I just had the two ones. Is he the only one that had her memories?
It doesn't matter.
And was that what ultimately undid the obedience thing?
It doesn't matter. None of that matters.
I just wondering.
You're wondering the wrong fucking questions.
Like I said, I don't need it answered, but I kind of
The right question you should be asking is, what the fuck is this blackout they keep alluding to? Because they talk about a blackout happening and, like, power going down, and that's part of another short made by the guy who made, like, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
And in there, a couple of, like, Nexus Model 8s, I think they were, basically attack what's left of the Tyrell Corporation and execute an EMP and a bomb at the database center for the corporation that stores all the model of Nexus.
Yeah, the one where Deckard, it said Deckard taught them how to do it, and then they did it.
No.
Like
He was teaching them how to do something else, and then somebody else did something entirely different, which made the entire plan moot.
Oh.
Yeah, they blow up all the records, and there's an identification number underneath the eyeball. And after that happened, any Nexus 8 basically plucked out their right eye, so they couldn't be identified.
Wouldn't that be kind of an obvious identification, though?
Well, that's kind of the double-edged sword of that.
I mean, unless you get like a fake eyeball and pop it in there.
Well, either way, there were a couple of things I took issue with in this. Basically, the idea that the only explanation that a replicant had a child was that humans and replicants could breed. Because we live in a world where artificial limbs and shit are a thing. I don't think...
I thought they covered it by... Jared Leto just had a line. It was like, it was Tyrell's final masterpiece.
Right.
One that could reproduce.
Right.
But it was just her. It was just Rachel.
Right. Well, that's kind of the thing. Everybody leaps to this being the absolute answer, and there's no other answer. I'm like, wouldn't it be way more plausible if they just had an artificial womb implanted? And they used that?
Well, I think it was because Jared Leto's character had been trying to figure out.
No, I get that. I get why he believes that, but like everybody else, like the police and Kay believe this, and they're just like, that's it. Nothing else could be the truth. And I'm just there, I'm like, there are a couple of things that could be the truth there, my friends. Maybe if we stopped and asked a question or two.
Yeah.
But it doesn't break the movie for me. Like I say, there are some things I take some issue with, but nothing that truly destroys the movie for me. And I guess we kind of got to talk about Ryan Gosling now.
He did a perfectly good job.
He was good. I was really surprised. One of the big complaints I had about him was how he looks just absolutely mute when he's in the trailers. He's just blank expression all the time.
Yeah.
And this was before anybody knew he was a replicant. So, spoilers, Ryan Gosling is a replicant. He goes around and he's looking at all this stuff, like the older model Nexus that don't have any actual skin or anything on them. They're just kind of these giant apertures, and he's looking at the database and shit, and he just has this, I am doing things. But you eventually find out it's like, oh, he's a robot.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting to know for your trailer, so that you didn't look like you had the world's most bored person being your lead. I understand why you wanted to keep it under wraps, but whatever. No, you spend a good 2/3 of the movie just with him and learning his character and his plight of understanding. And this all kicks off because he gets reminded of a memory that he has implanted in him. And he starts wondering, is the memory implanted or is it genuinely mine?
Yeah.
Because he sees a date carved into the base of a tree where they find Rachel's body, apparently.
Yes.
And it's the same as a date carved into a toy horse that he has a memory of having as a kid. Now, for those who aren't aware, all the replicants past the Nexus, whatever, Rachel model, were supposed to be implanted with false memories. Well, technically, they're all supposed to be implanted with false memories. It helps cushion the blow of leading to the fact that you're a replicant. Because of this, however, it's a huge coincidence. It's just like, this can't be a coincidence. This lines up too well. And he starts questioning, am I this person? Am I Rachel's child? And these memories have just been suppressed. He even goes to the person who creates the memories for Jared Leto and demands to know, were these implanted? And I love the wording in this because it harkens back to the way Blade Runner #1 opened by not saying the replicants are executed. It's called retirement. And she looks at him dead in the face and says, these are someone's memories. And it's left very ambiguous as to whether or not they are his or not. By saying they are someone's, it leaves you up to decide whether or not these are your memories. Mm-hmm. He takes it as they are. But it's that subversion of language that I've always loved so much, basically since Blade Runner #1.
You got quite the surprise, though.
Yeah, and then later when they've taken Deckard to try and figure out, hey, how did you put a baby in a machine? Which all he really has to do is like, fuck if I know, man. I just put my thing in the thing, and the thing came out. All right? I don't fucking know, okay? I didn't want kids, damn it. That's why I banged a robot. But it turns out that it's not him. He finds documents that a boy and a girl with the exact same genetic code were enrolled in this exact same institute. And because he is starting to wonder and believe that it is him that is this offspring,
he assumes the girl is...
He assumes that the girl was the one that was falsified, when in all reality it boils down to this was just a huge coincidence. And sometimes you're not the special. You're not the one that's supposed to be the one to lead the rebellion and charge forward for a brighter generation. You're just some guy.
Yep. And it was the male falsified record.
And it was the male's falsified record, then it literally is just a memory taken from someone else. It just happened to be the person that they were looking for.
Yep.
And I really, really liked that. It was a nice subversion of that, because usually you'll get a movie like this and you're like, yes, you are the one. You are the one who shall lead us and guide us. Neo, be our savior. And they're like, and when he finally gets there, they're like, yes, you're going to find Deckard's daughter. And he's like, what?
Daughter?
Daughter? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't have a vagina.
I did like the fact that who it was under Jared Leto's nose the whole time, and he still had no clue. Even at the end of the movie, he didn't know.
Yeah, I honestly really liked how it ended like that, and with absolutely... The bad guy doesn't get what he wants. The, I guess, good guys that would be fighting for the replicants don't get what they want. It's a very centered tale around Kay and his story.
And the completion of his story.
And the completion of his story. All through the movie, he's gone through and tried to figure out what it all means to him and how he fits into a grander purpose. And finally, he just says, "Well, I'm gonna do this then. I'll finish the job I was given." And
I do wonder though, like, if her condition was real or not, because
it was probably falsified.
They were talking about having her lead this grand rebellion, and supposedly she's a bubble girl.
Right.
Like,
I think that was falsified data, but at the same time, I don't think it's really necessary. It's one of those things that's not pertinent to the story at hand.
yeah.
But
Well, I'd just kind of be pissed off and be like, really? You kept me in a bubble for 20 years? Because
yeah,
I'm supposed to lead your rebellion? The fuck, man.
go the hell away.
Fuck off.
But yeah, I kind of thought it was a little on the nose with the Joy character at the very end. All throughout the movie, Ryan Gosling has had this holographic companion with him that he's grown attached to, and it's never quite stated. The machine says that, or the hologram says that she loves him.
Yeah.
Like right before she's destroyed. But then later you see him pass by a advertisement for the Joy hologram, and their slogan is "Everything you need to see, everything you need to hear."
Yeah.
And so that leaves the question, did the machine actually go beyond the bounds of its program and feel genuine love for somebody, or was it just something it felt he needed to hear?
I think they tried to cover that when she, like, hollow projected herself on the hooker.
But again, does the machine just interpret that as something that he needs to see and hear?
I don't know.
And
That's solidly, I have no idea.
it's one of those really great subversions of that, and I love this movie for it. It's visually stunning. It's written well. It's acted well. It's directed well. Harrison Ford clearly wants to be there because he delivers a really good damn performance.
Yeah. It's really one of those movies. This is not for everybody.
It's a slow-paced movie. Don't go in thinking you're going to get action and excitement. It's very much a slow, cerebral movie. And
me, as like an average person, like I said, I liked it.
You like Kingsman too, so let's put that in perspective.
Yeah, okay, I like dumb action movies,
Well, so do
but
I,
I can
still.
appreciate, like, good, long movies like this. But I'm not really the average movie person, because I see a lot of movies, and I appreciate good movies.
The hell am I, chopped liver?
No, like, you already have had this for a while. I'm sort of developing the taste, as we call it, because you've, like, you know, I used to defend shitty movies all the time. And
Yeah,
now I
yeah,
am
you do.
less so to do that. But it's just, your average person is not going to enjoy this. Unless they, like, unfortunately, like you said, storytelling sometimes is lost on the masses.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what happened with this one. And like I say, this is definitely going on my best of list this year because this is a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
That I can only hope gains more of a following.
I
after
can
it comes
honestly say this, though. You are not going to get the same two answers from anybody about this movie. Because
No.
I've talked to people who just hated it, who they're like, it was too long, it was boring, da-da-da-da. Then, you know, people who just didn't understand it, and they're like, I was confused the whole fucking time, and it took away from my enjoyment. But then, there's people who are like, oh, it's the best thing I've ever seen. It was amazing.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Like-
yeah, it's one of the best movies I've seen this year.
This is one of those movies where you're not going to get... I don't think any two people are going to feel exactly the same about this
Right.
movie.
Well, that's kind of what a good movie should do. It should open debate, and it should open the door for saying whether or not you like something.
Yeah.
Instead, we'll just get more really shitty action movies and people going, "Roar! I am the good, you are the evil. I will kill you so that good will prevail."
Let's reboot your childhood and destroy it.
Yeah, we'll remake it in 15 years and say it's the best one ever.
Alright guys, well let us know what you guys think down in the comments, and please make sure to like and subscribe. Hop over to Sean's channel and watch us. What's the new one? Beta? We're playing the Star Wars beta.
Yeah, it's the month of October right now, so we're doing spooky stuff. And what's spookier than robots and evil devil lightsaber wielders trying to kill you and each other?
Bigfoot.
Spooky!
Bigfoot. Coming soon.
Go get that squatch!
Alright guys, we'll see you next time.
Later.
Later.